Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to discuss on the topic dimensions of curriculum design. Before going to the details of that, if you are not subscribed to my channel, please plus subscribe button so you can get updates in my channel. So dimensions of curriculum design. There are six main dimensions for design of curriculum such as scope, sequence, continuity, integration, articulation, and balance. Now we shall see the details of these six dimensions. Scope. While discussing different dimensions for each of the six dimensions, we will discuss about how these dimensions are important in designing a curriculum as well as what we should do to integrate these dimensions while designing a curriculum. So, with regard to the dimension scope, the first aspect or first element considered should be a need of the curriculum that determine the scope of the curriculum, need as well as contents, courses in the curriculum, etc. So, what is the need? Whether we establish the need of the curriculum properly, whether the contents means the theoretical as well as practical components, field experiences, all aspects, those aspects or elements contained within the curriculum that we are going to include in the curriculum, and different courses we are planning or we are proposing through the curriculum. All these things influence the scope of the curriculum. And the second element or the second aspect influence scope of the curriculum is domains of learning. You are familiar with the term domains of learning, which is under discussion and development since Aristotle, who proposed three categories of knowledge or for learning, such as theoretical, productive, and practical. And based on the Aristotelian classification, further development has been taking place in the area of domains of learning. So, the well known classification by Benjamin S. Bloom et al., the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. So there is the another classification, especially for sciences such as knowledge, process, creativity, application, and attitude. So whether all these domains were properly integrated into the curriculum, that also influence the scope of curriculum. Then level and depth of the curriculum. So, for which level, whether it is for elementary level or for secondary level or for tertiary level or any specific profession or specific skill, specific set of competencies, etc. So, what is the level of the curriculum and whether it is according to the level of the curriculum as well as the depth of the curriculum, how far, how much materials, experiences, topics included within the curriculum, whether it is appropriate with the level of learners and whether it is adequate for the regarding with regard to the depth of the program. That also is influenced the scope of the curriculum, and how far it is flexible, means to what extent it provide choices, options for learners with different abilities, different interests, coming from multiple backgrounds, multicultural, etc. So that level and depth of the curriculum, that's another aspect should be considered while determining the scope of the curriculum. Then regarding the nature of the curriculum, what is the nature of the curriculum? Whether the curriculum is proceeded in a straight line, or that is why we call it as a linear curriculum. So from the complexity increases from class 1 to class 2, 3, 4, etc. That's the linear nature of curriculum. Or whether it is spiral. You know the details of spiral curriculum. You might have studied the spiral curriculum. So what should be the nature? Whether the nature is properly considered while preparing a curriculum. Then approach. What what approach, or which approach you plan to taken as a basis for this curriculum design, whether it is the content or the consider knowledge as transmitted, should be transmitted, knowledge should be transmitted by using a set of culture, or it's a discipline based, or whether it is objective or outcome based approach, or whether you plan to follow process approach or praxis approach. So what approach, or which among these approaches you plan or you propose for while designing your curriculum. Then what type of curriculum you plan, whether it is an explicit curriculum or a written curriculum, or a hidden curriculum, or a null curriculum. So these three types, which in among the major three types, which type of curriculum you propose or you plan to design. So these elements, from need to domains of knowledge, level and depth, nature, approach, and type of curriculum determine the scope of the curriculum. So that's the first dimension should be considered while designing a curriculum. Then the second dimension is sequence. So sequence means there is an arrangement, arrangement to proceed through. So how we proceed through the curriculum. So how it is arranged, how contents are arranged in the curriculum. So continuity and comprehensiveness, that's the first elements influence the dimension sequence. So the topics, the courses, the experiences, all such inclusions should be arranged in a continuous and comprehensive manner. That's the first aspect, and these should contribute to cumulative learning. So these arrangements, the sequencing in the curriculum should promote cumulative learning, so that learners should their learning should be added up. So the material or the inclusions in the curriculum should be provided in such a way that it should promote continuous learning and thereby resulted in a cumulative acquisition of knowledge. Then arrangement. How these materials in the curriculum arranged, whether it is linear or hierarchical. Linear, a type of linear arrangement is termed as hierarchical, and or whether it is a branched type of arrangement. Whether as a linear arrangement, we already told that it's a straight line arrangement. The topics are arranged one after another in a logical way, or some other ways, such as known to unknown, simple to complex. Then there can be arrangement in a chronological order, or can be from inductive, deductive, from specific to general, or general to specific, whatever it may be. There are different types of arrangements. So which uh, type of arrangement you plan, and that also influence the uh, sequencing dimension of the curriculum when we are going to design it. So how effectively or how easily learners can proceed through the curriculum is determined by sequence. So the sequencing should be logical, then only the curriculum will be an effective one. So we pass on to the next dimension, continuity. So continuity is which, as we already told, it's the proceeding through the curriculum from one element to another, or from one linking between different courses, etc. And the result or the impact of continuity is that it should lead to permanency of learning as well as mastery learning. So only when a learner reaches or learner acquire permanent knowledge, only when the curriculum is designed in such a way that it is continuous, means the elements are not at all fragmented. Learner should get a comprehensive experience, a comprehensive opportunity to get permanent learning or attain mastery learning. Then it is continuous in another dimension, such as the curriculum should help the learner for further learning, for higher learning, it seems. You can for in another level or another stage, or as well as in life. The curriculum should have linking with the life of the learner also in future life. So it should have some continuity with life also. Then horizontal and vertical. The continuity can be horizontal and vertical. Horizontal continuity, we can say it as it can be within the stage or level or class or discipline. So the continuity of topics, concepts, activities, etc. within the class or within the stage. When it is elementary, it is in the elementary stage or level, or in the class 10 means the class, or within the subject, when the subject of mathematics, biology, etc. within that subject. And there can be vertical continuity, means to the next level, from elementary to secondary, or higher, or in the to higher classes, or continuity to the field of work, or the further levels, further application areas also. So all these aspects, all these elements of continuity is very significant, whether the curriculum have the capacity to continue for a permanent learning, and it should have influence in the further learning or life or work of the learner. Hence that continuity dimension is very significant. So the next dimension of curriculum design is integration. So, whether the curriculum is integrated to national goals, national values, as well as international values, and the nation's vision of education. That's the first aspect should be discussed with integration. So integration also is very important dimension. So whether national goals, national and international values, as well as the national vision is properly integrated is very essential, because a nation determines the education of that nation. So whether these are integrated properly. Then regarding the essential themes, concepts, skills, competencies were properly integrated. What approach we plan when we design a curriculum, whether it is a thematic approach, then all the concepts, skills, competencies required should be properly integrated, or the objectives, content, experience and assessment, the basic components of curriculum, the objectives, content, experience and assessment, whether all these basic components are properly integrated or linked within the curriculum. Then what about the integration of learning and assessment? Whether learning and assessment stood separately or they are integrated, or whether there is a provision for continuous assessment while the learner proceeded through the learning material. That as and when learning occurs, there should be a provision for continuous feedback, whether the learning and assessment are integrated in such a way to provide continuous assessment. Then the integration of learner needs and interest. How far when we are designing a curriculum, we should consider the characteristics of prospective learners, and to incorporate, there should be provision to properly incorporate the needs and interest of learners. Then whether the demands of the field or the industry is properly integrated, that also is an essential element. All the curriculum in essence planned for further application in the respective fields as well as in some kind of industry, say. So whether the demands in the field or demands in the industry is properly integrated. So in the dimension integration, regarding to consideration should be given to national goals, values and vision, then themes, concepts, skills, competencies, etc. Regarding basic components such as objectives, content, experience and assessment, learning and assessment integration, learners' needs and interest should be properly attended. Then demands of the field or industry should be taken into consideration. So next dimension of curriculum design is articulation. Articulation means organization of contents within a given knowledge domain or subject. So how contents are organized in a discipline or a subject, that's what this dimension stands for, articulation. And there are two types of articulation such as vertical and horizontal. So vertical articulation also called as hierarchical articulation. So in vertical articulation, vertical organization of contents. The relating concepts, topics, skills, or courses appear a later time in the program or the field of study of work. So the contents are organized in such a way that the content given in a present unit, say for example unit 1 of the curriculum or a course 1 of the curriculum, that should have relation with the some courses or some topics, certain skills come later within the program. Or in a program you can see a set of courses. So if it is a semester program, the topics comes in the first semester shall have some influence in the courses in semester 4, like that. Or there can be for a further study. So for example, a UG curriculum, topics in the UG curriculum should have some relation to curriculum or topics or courses in a PG curriculum or a further research or in the field of work or in the life of the individual, such kind of an articulation. So the content should be organized in such a way it should help the learner in his further or higher learning. And in horizontal articulation, horizontal organization of contents, the relating content skills topics come within the same topic, subject or class. So the organization of content we consider regarding the horizontal articulation means the contents within the lesson, within the unit, within the chapter, or within the class, or within the subject. That kind of how we organize contents or topics for a lesson, for a unit, for a subject, or within a class. So that kind of organization, how we organize contents for a class, for a subject, or a lesson or a topic. So that's horizontal articulation. So these two types of articulations are significant. So how we organize content for within the class or within a subject or within a lesson, as well as how we have provision in the curriculum for higher classes or higher stages of learning. So vertical as well as horizontal organization of contents, both these type of organizations are highly significant for a good curriculum design. So next dimension of curriculum design is balance, the sixth dimension. So how the elements in a curriculum are properly distributed. So distribution of contents, depth of topic, level of experience and duration are the elements mainly influence the dimension balance. So how the contents of the curriculum is distributed, whether it is proper, whether it is evenly distributed, any equal weightage. So whether some unit or some modules or certain courses has more weightage, and whether these additional weightage can be substantiated properly, etc. So regarding the depth of the topic, so the topics, few topics are given only, consider only in a superficial manner, and some topics in very detailed manner, and that's not a good indicator for balance. So the topic should have adequate depth as well as the level of experience, the learning experiences provided and learning resources incorporated in the curriculum, whether these are appropriate to the level of the learner's stage of their cognitive development, etc. And as well as the duration for different courses, different modules, different topics, etc. So whether this duration is appropriate or whether this duration is uh, adequate. So in case of some topics, when the topics are complex, it require more duration to cover up. So whether all these things are distributed properly in a curriculum, that's what the dimension balance is looking for. So that's very important, that otherwise it will send a message that some thing or some topics or some courses are less important or some others are more important. It should not happen like that. There should be equal weightage to each and every courses and the modules in different courses, or the experiences and resources are given in various courses, etc. And there should be proper review and monitoring. The curriculum should be properly reviewed and it should monitor for adequate weightage. So we have to conduct a proper review to distribute to keep the balance of various elements within the curriculum. So now we shall complete the discussion about the dimensions of curriculum design. So we have discussed 6 dimensions that we have to consider while designing a curriculum. So that's the end. Thanks for watching.